All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update. And I actually took the weekend off here to relax and get away from the internet and all the noise that's going on out there. And I spent some time with my family. And I figured I'd get my DC update out here this Sunday before Monday hits and more news comes out before the updates get so big. Now, I am going to show you quite a few of James Gunn's threads that he has put out there since my last update. And at the end of the video, I'm also going to take you to my Twitter account and show you this post I did yesterday that it's going to show you just how stupid the people are on Twitter. And it is freaking hilarious. And it's not so much the negative comments that they're making towards me. It's just going to be the stupidity of the comments. It's mind-blowing, guys. It is absolutely mind-blowing how stupid people are out there. And we're going to take a look at some of that. And I'm not going to be attacking anybody, personally, because that's not what I do here. But we are going to take a look at some of those comments, which I think are freaking hilarious. All right, but let's take a look at these photos first. First up, I have talked about this already, but there is a Christopher Reeve documentary coming out called Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. It said it moved audiences at Sundance and is now in a bidding war with offers upwards to $10 million for the rights to basically distribute this movie. I hope this gets released in theaters. I doubt it will, but this is something I would actually go to the theaters to see. But more than likely, it's going to be streaming rights. I envision this will probably be available to purchase or to rent from many different places once this deal goes through. But apparently it's a pretty good thing. It's a pretty good documentary, so I am looking forward to this. So people were out there, and I've talked about this already, that people believe this to be the Superman Legacy logo. People are saying this is the big reveal and that this is what they expect the suit to look like, which is a callback to the Fleischer cartoons. And I personally would not be a fan of this. I really think this needs to be more of the classic suit. Now, the other side of this is I showed you those set pieces with corn sweat in Henry Cavill's suit. And, if they use that suit, like I said, I think it's going to be a middle finger to a lot of people. It's going to really upset a lot of the fan base out there. But I wouldn't be happy with this either. I think it does need to be more classic, but we'll see what... James Gunn never does anything inside the box, and he has to put his own thumbprint on it, which I think is not something we need right now. I think we need to get back to the basics and show the audience who these characters are, but I just don't think he's up to the task, but we will see. So Amelia Jones said that she refused to read for the DCU Supergirl. She actually went to a film festival instead. She just did not want to do this. Now, out of all the girls that are playing Supergirl, I think she would do the best out of all of them, at least look-wise. But, it's not happening. She didn't want to have anything to do with the DCU. Somebody asked James Gunn on Threads, why can't Batman appear in Superman Legacy? And can we see Batman in some other production before his film? And James Gunn simply responded, well, he can't appear in Superman Legacy because he's not in the script, which makes total sense in the world. But people like myself and others would argue, if he's going to have all those other characters in there, why can't we have a cameo by Batman? Yeah, well, that's to be expected. Now, people have thrown this out there that this is from the film, and they haven't started filming yet, guys. And I don't believe this to be real at all, because I've seen pictures. I've seen the picture where this looks like this is photoshopped from, and you can see on the screen there it says, Lois, I'm pregnant. I don't know. I don't know what that has to do with, but people are assuming this is what the suit is going to look like. I don't think that would be good. If you see that the cape really wraps around to the front, and I don't think they could change it that much. It can't loop all the way around to the front like that, because whatever's in the front here is hiding where it actually goes to. And I don't think it looks like it's going to come down in the front. I just don't think this is a good look. So I hope this isn't real, but I don't think it's real. but this is getting passed around as well. Now, I don't know was spreading rumors that the Batman Part 2 was canceled. Some people tried to say I said this, and I certainly did not. But somebody asked, hey, James, some people are spreading the conspiracy theory that you canceled the Batman 2. But if I have to ask, is it true? He simply said no, and he has that face like, come on, really? And the DC Film News reported the Batman 2 has not been canceled by James Gunn. You can stop those rumors. Who even started those rumors? I haven't seen anybody out there say that this has been canceled. I think this is weird that they're even having to come out and debunk this because I've never seen anybody say this. Now, I do have a fear that Matt Reeves may walk away because of James Gunn getting involved, but I never once said that the Batman 2 is canceled, and it's one of the few projects I'm actually looking forward to coming from, DC Studios. So it says Warner Brothers Games is actively working with James Gunn on the core DCU franchises. However, they are not obligated to tie every game to the new DC canon. And this is a quote from Warner Brothers Games. While they are working on a Superman movie title, we're not going to launch a Superman game purely because we feel obligated. And so you could forget about something. I really wish they would do a Justice League movie in the vein of the Arkham Knight series, but that is just not going to happen. And there's a cool picture of Batman and Superman playing games there. And this is the only time I'm gonna show you a picture today. When we go to my Twitter account, I'm gonna show you something about the Arkham games. And this, like I said, this Twitter post was freaking hilarious. So more stuff from James Gunn. James Gunn said Zoe Saldana says she would like to work with you again in the DCU. Are you interested to? Do you have any characters in mind for her? Of course, and of course, I love Zoe. Now, to me, this sounds like one of those burner accounts where he might be asking himself a question. Now, I can't confirm that, but that seems like a very specific question and him coming with a very specific answer. But obviously, he has a role for her by the way he answered this because he said, of course, and of course, I love Zoe. So you could expect to see her in the DCU. I wouldn't mind this. I think she's an incredible actress. I will tell you, Crash is one of those movies where her performance was astounding in that film, and I've loved her in just about everything she's done, from Avatar to anything else. She's an amazing actress, and I wouldn't mind seeing her in the DCU. So this goes back to November 6th of 2022, so a little over a year ago, and this goes to show you how James Gunn is not truthful a lot of the time. And this was a Twitter post, and he said, open up Twitter at the end of a long creative weekend to see the many tweets to save Legends of Tomorrow and release the Air Cut, and fan support for other DC projects over the years. The majority of these requests were enthusiastic and respectful. And he continues to go on to say, as the new and first ever CEOs of DC Studios, Peter and I think it's important we acknowledge you, the fans, and let you know we hear your different desires and pathways forward for DC. Well, they've made it very clear over the last year that there is only one pathway forward, and it's through James Gunn, by James Gunn. The whole entire thing is being planned and executed by James Gunn. As I've mentioned before, there are no other projects currently in development with other people actively working on them. It's all about James Gunn. And we could forget about the Air Cut getting released, and they've made that pretty well and well known, and they definitely don't have any desire to let the DCU continue and let the fans and the regular audience that wanted to see a completion of that story even have that option to have that completion of that story, and it's going to cause their box office to suffer. Now, here's one of the posts I did over the weekend. There was a video released with, and this has to do with Daredevil Born Again, and I tie this into the Warner Brothers, where it showed Matt, Karen, and Foggy all together filming a scene from Daredevil Born Again. And to let you guys know, when they brought Daredevil back, they weren't going to have Foggy or Karen in the show at all. And the directors who were directing it got fired because Daredevil didn't even show up till like the 4th or 5th episode. It ended up being like this courtroom drama. And they didn't have the choreographers from the Netflix show. And you could see the choreography in the She-Hulk show was terrible. Same with Echo. It was over-choreographed. It wasn't like the visceral fights that we saw in the Netflix show. Well, since then, they have brought the characters of Karen and Foggy back, and they're being played by the same people. They brought in the choreographer from the Netflix show, and they rewrote the whole show. So they're listening to the fans. They're giving the fans all of a sudden what they have been asking for. So I actually tagged James Gunn and Warner Brothers Discovery, and I see, and by the way, this went viral over the weekend. Like, this was being shared everywhere. I said, see Warner Brothers Discovery and James Gunn, what happens when the studios listen to the fans? This is how you build excitement. I have not seen people this hyped for a while. Even though, like I said, it had to do with Daredevil. That was an amazing project over there at Netflix. Everything they did on Netflix was pretty awesome. And it's been dumbed down since Disney started moving everything over to Disney+. And this is the first time where we've seen them course correct on something. So there's still time. Warner Brothers Discovery and James Gunn can still fix a lot of the issues that they have going on down there. Now, Men of Steel posted this, and I said 100%. It says, this person said, why I hate Warner Brothers. Ben Affleck almost killed himself because of them. David Ayer was devastated by the hate he got for the butchering of Suicide Squad. Cavill did nothing to deserve being hired and then fired so quickly. And covering up Whedon's behavior, restore the Snyderverse. And yeah, this is all true, and I've covered all of this stuff on my channel. I've talked about every single one of these stories, and this is why the audience is not happy with Warner Brothers, and there's a small minority, and I could tell that there are a younger group of people that are standing behind James Gunn, while the rest of us want something else entirely different. So this Entertainment Biz posted in regards to, I talked about the studio being worried about Superman Legacy in my last video. This individual said the rumblings are true. The studio is worried about Superman Legacy. They are also worried about the new DCU as well, because on paper, it's looking real mediocre. And I said this all along, even back, if you go watch my video, when they announced the slate, I talked about this. There are only like 2 or 3 of the projects look really interesting. The rest are projects nobody asked for, and especially with what they're starting with. And we're going to take a look at something I just grabbed a few minutes ago, that what they're starting with is not stuff people asked for. It's just weird projects. So this is another interesting post by James Gunn, and we'll see if he sticks to this. Somebody asked, how much of the movie is dedicated to the origin story? And again, this could be a burner account for all I know, him answering himself so succinctly. How much of the movie is dedicated to the origin story? James Gunn simply responded with none. None. So they can't spend any time doing this. So we're being thrown into a universe that is already fully formed, and we're getting thrown into the middle of it, which seems weird. I don't know why they're calling this Superman Legacy. It should be called, the Justice League or Justice League Unlimited at this stage, because it doesn't seem like this is going to be much of a Superman movie, and they're not going to spend any time in the origin, which I agree they shouldn't be doing. We've seen enough of his origin in other films. So this is pretty cool for people. I'm going to start sharing this stuff as they come up. This is the first look at Cassandra Cain as Batgirl. This is a nice figure, guys. It's a 7-inch scale gold label figure that is going to pre-order that is going to be up for pre-order exclusively at Target on January 30th. So you guys are going to want to definitely check out that. That is, again, specifically at Target. So if you aren't signed up for the Target app, you're going to want to get those orders as quickly as possible. All right, so Sil Abdul posted this. He said, regarding licensing content for other studios, CEO of Netflix declared, they are open for business, guys, and they are. They are going to continue to acquire stuff from other studios, and there's no reason why they can't continue the DCEU over there. And then APAS posted and said, it's almost as if we've been saying this for over a year now, while being mocked. And I do 100% agree with that. We have been mocked like crazy. So somebody posted these to show you just the amount of hype that was behind these projects. So 11 years ago, when the Man of Steel official trailer 2 came out, you can see there have been 42 million views on that. Superman Dawn of Justice, I remember when this Comic-Con trailer came out. Holy crap. 78 million views. And then you have the Justice League special Comic-Con footage from 7 years ago. 26 million views. There was hype behind this, guys. These were the first looks at these projects, and people were excited. Now, I find this post to be absolutely hilarious. So this comes from Screen Rant, and it says, James Gunn stated that while the studio was not overly keen on the idea, Warner Brothers allowed the Suicide Squad to be a more mature film. It actually wasn't more mature. Sure, it was rated R, and it was disgusting, but because of juvenile, just belligerent humor, that was disgusting. And it said, Warner Brothers trusted James Gunn with the Suicide Squad, which is a great sign for the DCU. I don't believe that, and a lot of people don't believe that. There's only a small group of people that actually believe this. If this is a sign where things are going to go, with this being like one of the worst performing projects for DC ever, yeah, it's not looking good. Now, I think this is pretty cool, but this is going to have that same issue that people didn't like about Zack Snyder's Justice League, is that James Gunn confirmed Superman Legacy will be shot in IMAX for that format of screens, which is more of a square than it is the 2.35 or 1.78 ratio that gives us that widescreen. Now let's head over to Twitter so I could show you this post that I put up and just the comments that I got. It is freaking hilarious. Okay, so here's the post that I put up. And it said, Snyder versus Gunn. Restore the Snyderverse, sell Zack Snyder's Justice League to Netflix, sell the Snyderverse to Netflix. And you can see that there's a picture here from the Arkhamverse Joker 2011 and the Elseworlds Joker 2024. And I'm just showing the difference, between projects that came out freaking 13 years ago versus the projects that are coming out today. This Suicide Squad movie or Suicide Squad game looks freaking terrible. There's no other way to say it. I have no interest in this game, and I did originally when they first announced it. But everything I've seen in the story and stuff, I have no interest in playing this game at all. And that's a ridiculous-looking Joker. And when I put Snyder versus Gunn, people literally thought that I was talking about the comparison of the Jokers from Zack Snyder's from Zack Snyder's world, and they tried to equate David Ayer's version of the Joker to the Elseworlds Joker here. And they're like, we haven't seen anything yet from James Gunn's Joker. No, we haven't, and that wasn't the point of this post. I just have to laugh. And this first post here, you're going to see one of those comments. So the person said, what did he mean by this? What did he mean by this? I am telling you guys, these people on Twitter have got to be children where their brains have not fully developed. Because it's very clear what I meant by this. It's very, very clear. The projects we had were amazing. What we're getting are going to be stupid. That's the whole point. It had nothing to specifically do with Joker. It didn't have anything to do with the Arkham game itself. It didn't have anything to do with the Suicide Squad game itself. It had to do with Snyder versus Gunn, that we got the dark, gritty stuff with Snyder, and we're going to get the ridiculous, happy-go-lucky, rainbow colors with what Gunn is going to do, along with disgusting humor behind it. That was the whole point of that post. Some of these things were hilarious that people were doing, and I had to tell them that by doing this, all they're doing is sending more people my way. And I'll show you one of those posts. See, this is freaking hilarious. Here's another person replying to me. Look, I enjoy Snyder's film, but when his Joker, and it was never his Joker, is considered the worst amongst general audiences, and it's even getting a parody in Grand Theft Auto 6, that's a mix of Leto and Florida Joker. It's not the best Joker by a long shot. That wasn't the point, people. Again, I'm sure this person has to be a teenager or younger, okay? So here's another one of the posts, and this is how I responded to them. Somebody took the time to find a picture of me where my head was tilted back like this, right? Just so that they could put in this thing with James Gunn in my head. And guys, I'm going to continue to talk about James Gunn because you know what? He's the head of DC Studios. So yes, I'm going to be covering all this stuff and having commentary. That's a given. He's not the one that lives rent-free in my head. The one that lives rent-free in everybody's head who's against this are the people who bash Snyder when Snyder isn't even involved. And I said, you have too much time on your hands, but thanks for the free advertising. Every time people do this, I get a bigger audience, which is true. And then this person goes on to say, I didn't make this. And I'm going to have to see if this person is. Hopefully I didn't get after them too much if they weren't the ones who created it or if they were just showing me. When these people do this, it just brings more people to my channel. So the people who take time to do this, they're children. There are children all over Twitter. All right, guys, so there you have it. Just man alive, I'm telling you. This past couple of weeks on social media has shown me just how terrible people could be, and it's interesting. Every once in a while, I'll show you some of the goofy things, but that post I did had nothing to do with the Joker. It had nothing to do with the version of the Joker that was in Zack Snyder's. He didn't even create it. David Ayer did. And it had nothing to do with the games themselves. It had to do with the quality of the films that we had versus what we're going to have. And I think a lot of people saw that. And there were a few people. Some person actually told everybody what I meant by that. And I said, finally, somebody has some common sense here on Twitter. So just goofy stuff. All right, guys, I'm going to be covering everything with the DCU going forward. I will continue to gather stuff online, anything that James Gunn has to say, any of the photos that I find. And for those who didn't know, and I got to mention this at the beginning of my videos, that I do leave the link to the portfolio where I have the photos that I've given. I have an email address for people to get in contact with me in the description of every video so that you guys will have that stuff. I do appreciate the support. We will see you on the next video.